Welcome to the Continental Current. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon for more updates and thrilling short scenes. In 2025, Australia stands at a crossroads, facing one of the most complex and consequential decisions in its modern history. The nation finds itself navigating a rapidly shifting global landscape where old alliances and economic realities are being tested like never before. Caught between its long-standing security ally, the United States, and its largest and most vital trading partner, China, Australia, is under immense pressure from both sides. The stakes have never been higher, as every diplomatic gesture and economic policy is watched closely by both Washington and Beijing. The return of President Trump to the White House and his administration's imposition of steep tariffs on Chinese goods has sent shockwaves through global markets. Investors are on edge, and the ripple effects have reached Australia's shores, putting the country in an even more precarious position as it tries to shield its economy from the fallout. The so-called $30 billion ultimatum now looms large over Canberra, representing the immense value of trade at risk if relations with either superpower sour. For Australia, this isn't just a number. It's the livelihoods of farmers, miners, and exporters who depend on open access to global markets. Australia's alliance with Washington is foundational to its defense, providing security guarantees and military cooperation that have underpinned the nation's safety for generations. Joint exercises and intelligence sharing remain critical in an increasingly uncertain Indo-Pacific region. At the same time, Australia's economic lifeline to Beijing has fueled decades of prosperity. China's demand for Australian resources, from iron ore to agricultural products, has helped build cities, create jobs, and fund public services across the country. Now, Canberra faces a stark dilemma: risk severe economic fallout by siding with the US and potentially losing access to Chinese markets, or jeopardize its crucial security ties by appeasing Beijing and angering Washington. The choices are fraught with danger. Any misstep could have lasting consequences for Australia's economy, its security, and its standing on the world stage. Every policy move is scrutinized by both superpowers, making the balancing act more perilous than ever. The media, business leaders, and the public all watch anxiously as the government weighs its options, knowing that the wrong decision could tip the balance. The challenge for Australia in 2025 is clear: how to survive and thrive when squeezed by the world's two giants, and how to chart a path forward that secures both its prosperity and its sovereignty in an era of global uncertainty. Australia's economic rise is inseparable from China's demand for its resources, iron ore, coal, and more. China is Australia's top trading partner, delivering immense wealth and jobs. Meanwhile, the US is Australia's indispensable security partner, providing advanced military technology and intelligence through the ANZUS Treaty and Five Eyes network. The paradox: prosperity from China, protection from the US. As Washington and Beijing drift further apart, Australia is forced into a high-wire act. China has shown it will use trade as a weapon, while the US expects unwavering support against Beijing. Australia cannot afford to lose either relationship, but the tension is growing unsustainable. Every new tariff and diplomatic spat makes the balancing act harder. At home, Australia's economy is faltering, GDP growth is sluggish, manufacturing is shrinking, and unemployment is rising. The government relies heavily on tax revenue from exports to China, making any disruption a major threat. Inflation has unexpectedly surged, forcing the Reserve Bank to hold off on rate cuts despite weak growth. This economic fragility leaves Australia exposed to external shocks, especially from China. With little room to maneuver, Canberra is wary of antagonizing its largest trading partner. The fear of recession looms over every decision. Australia's economic vulnerability is now a lever Beijing can pull. The $30 billion trade relationship is both a source of wealth and a potential weapon. China's leverage over Australia is implicit but powerful. $30 billion in key exports could be disrupted at any moment. Australia has already felt the sting of Chinese trade punishments. From wine to barley, iron ore remains the biggest risk. China buys the vast majority, and finding new markets is nearly impossible in the short term. The threat extends to education and tourism, with Chinese students and tourists vital to Australia's economy. Beijing can easily influence these flows, putting pressure on universities and businesses. Every sensitive policy decision is weighed against the risk of Chinese retaliation. economic dependence has become a strategic vulnerability, challenging Australia's sovereignty. The Australian dollar is more than just a currency. It's a real-time gauge of the nation's economic fortunes and a reflection of its deep, complex ties to China. Every tick up or down in its value tells a story about Australia's place in the global economy, and how international events ripple through its markets. When China's economy is booming, demand for Australian resources like iron ore and coal surges, pushing the AUD higher. But when trade tensions flare or diplomatic relations sour, the dollar can tumble almost overnight, reflecting the fragility of this economic partnership. In 2025, the Australian dollar swings wildly with every headline about US-China negotiations. Even a rumor of new tariffs or a hint of easing tensions can send the currency on a roller coaster ride, as global investors react in real time. Optimism about a breakthrough trade deal can boost the currency, sparking rallies in the stock market and renewed confidence among investors. But persistent concerns about weak domestic fundamentals, like sluggish wage growth or rising household debt, often cap any rally, reminding everyone that Australia's economy faces challenges at home as well as abroad. For businesses, this volatility makes it incredibly hard to plan for the future. A weaker dollar means higher import costs, driving up prices for everyday Australians and squeezing profit margins for companies that rely on overseas goods. Households feel the pinch at the supermarket, while business owners worry about rising bills and unpredictable expenses. Yet, there's a silver lining. A lower AUD makes Australian exports more competitive on the world stage, providing a crucial buffer for farmers, miners, and manufacturers during tough times. Exporters can find new opportunities as their goods become more attractive to buyers overseas, helping to support jobs and regional communities. The Reserve Bank of Australia sees the dollar as a shock absorber, helping the economy adjust to global shocks. But when swings become extreme, they add a layer of uncertainty that makes it harder for policymakers, businesses, and families to make confident decisions about the future. In today's interconnected world, Australia's economic fate is now tied to forces far beyond its control. From shifting global alliances to the unpredictable winds of international trade, the Australian dollar remains a sensitive barometer of geopolitical weather, one that every Australian feels, whether they realize it or not. Late October 2025 brings a rare glimmer of hope. A thaw in US-China relations. President Trump signals de-escalation, shelving new tariffs, while China makes goodwill purchases of US soybeans. The People's Bank of China strengthens the yuan, signaling a willingness to negotiate. For Australia, a trade deal would ease pressure, stabilize supply chains, and boost commodity prices. The Australian dollar rallies on this optimism, but caution remains. Core disputes are unresolved, and the truce is fragile. For now, Australia gets a reprieve, not a resolution. Australia's future depends on diplomatic agility, as the world becomes increasingly unpredictable and the balance of power continues to shift. In this environment, Australia must be nimble, adapting quickly to new challenges and opportunities that arise on the global stage. Strategic foresight is essential, allowing leaders to anticipate risks and make informed decisions that protect national interests. The central challenge is to maintain strong economic ties with China, Australia's largest trading partner, while also safeguarding its sovereignty and values. The goal is to walk a careful line, benefiting from trade with China, but not becoming overly dependent. At the same time, Australia must strengthen its security partnership with the United States, ensuring that its defense capabilities remain robust and credible in a rapidly changing region. Economic diversification is crucial. Australia must expand trade with India, Vietnam, and the European Union, as well as other emerging markets, to reduce its reliance on any single country. This approach will help insulate the economy from external shocks and foster new opportunities for growth. By building stronger commercial links with these partners, Australia can create a more resilient and flexible economy, better able to withstand global disruptions. Canberra should continue to invest in its alliance with the United States, deepening cooperation on security, intelligence, and technology. However, it is equally important for Australia to maintain its independence and not blindly follow every American demand, ensuring that its own interests are always at the forefront. By working closely with other regional allies and partners, Australia can help shape a more balanced and stable approach to China, one that encourages dialogue and cooperation while standing firm on key principles. Supporting multilateral institutions like the World Trade Organization is vital for maintaining global stability and upholding the rules-based order. Whether the current thaw in relations with China lasts or not, Australia must continue to diversify its partnerships, defend its interests, and remain vigilant. In a world where power dynamics are constantly shifting, Australia's ability to adapt and respond will be its greatest asset. The balancing act is far from over, and the challenges ahead are significant. But with resilience, strategic vision, and a commitment to its core values, Australia can secure its place in the new global order and thrive in an uncertain future. Ultimately, it is this resilience and adaptability that will define Australia's role in the world for generations to come.